Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's your man, Big B, Brian Hanley, and welcome to Steelers Almighty. Thank you guys for showing up, man. We got a good show here for you guys today. Appreciate it. First off, we're going to talk about Will Howard as the starter. Like, do we want Will Howard to be the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Next up, we're going to talk about the chances. What are the Steelers' chances of actually adding a wide receiver number two? Like, is that something that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do, are looking to do? And then this is a huge year for Nick Herbig. It's a huge year in the sense of what are we going to do with him next? So this has got to be a gigantic year for Nick Herbig. We're going to talk about that a little bit. So appreciate everybody being in here as always, man. Thank you guys again. Like I said, if you want to help support the channel, you know how to do that. Chats are wide open. We appreciate everybody being in here for that. Thank you very much. As people start to trickle in, you know, Arch Baby Doll is here. Looks like Arch Baby Doll found some Thunderbird for us for training camp, which is great because I haven't been able to find it anywhere. So we appreciate you. Thank you, Arch Baby Doll. Jar Devil's in here. What's going on? What's going on? Jason, how are you doing? Appreciate it. So, yeah, as we start to trickle in, we'll break all this stuff down again. Yeah, it's little Will Howard, little wide receiver too, and talk a little Nick Herbig today. We'll get into all of that as we say. Jimmy K, what's going on? Appreciate you being in here. Our man Luke Cage, what is happening, people? What is happening? So, you know, if you happen to be or want to become a member, there's a link that is in the top of the chat for you guys to do that. You see that all the members in here, they absolutely get their comments and questions up there for supporting the channel. We appreciate that. So, so Big B or Arch Babe found it. E&J Gallo Winery. Lord heaven, that's some digging. That's dedication there. That is dedication on finding a Thunderbird for us. We will have to dig all that up. What's going on, Forever 412? We appreciate it, man. So, but let's get into this, people. Let's get into this. So, first off, Will Howard as the starting quarterback. Do we want Will Howard to be the starter? So, first off, we talked about this yesterday. The hate from Chris Sims on what he brought to the table. I mean, look, the thing about Chris Sims, I'm not even sure what he said was that bad. It's just he said it in a negative light. You know, just, well, he doesn't have a great arm. The one thing that I don't agree with as far as the accuracy, I mean, the guy was a 73% passer at Ohio State. That's pretty damn accurate. So, so maybe that's the reason why, people are flipping out about the hate, because that was a dumb statement by Chris Sims. Let's just call it what it was. Just a dumb thing to say. But other than that, he's not the greatest athlete. Well, he's a pretty good athlete. I mean, but no, he's not the greatest. Okay, we knew that. Oh, he doesn't have the strongest arm. Okay, we knew that. But he can make every NFL throw. So if he can make every NFL throw, does it matter whether he's, got Josh Allen's arm? I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. So are we certain that Chris Sims is good at evaluating QBs? No, we're not. The one thing is people always get mad. Hey, what's going on, Somber? We appreciate you for dropping in, my man. We appreciate you. Is that people get mad and they always say about Chris Sims, well, he wasn't any good. Well, hold on. He doesn't have to be good at being an NFL quarterback. How many people on the planet Earth that have ever been on the planet Earth that were good as an NFL quarterback? And just because you're not good as an NFL quarterback doesn't mean you can't spot one. Doesn't mean you don't know when one's good or whether they're not good. That's the only pushback that I'll give you on Chris Sims. Other than that, I think he does. Look, everybody does stuff for content. I do it. I do it for entertainment value. The difference between me and other people, I like to tell the truth and make it entertaining, where other people will just say anything off the wall. Yes, I get it. That my channel it'll take longer for us to get to where we're trying to go because we're not going to just clickbait you to death. But we'll get there. We're already getting there. We're already getting there. You guys appreciate people that just are honest. So, but as far as Chris Sims, it is what it is. It just is what it is. That's the thing, is that he said all these things trying to be negative, but it's all these things we already knew about Will Howard. And I mean, so it is what it is. It is what it is. But what does it look like? So when could Will Howard actually be the starter? Well, first off, let's talk about scenarios with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that's the first thing, is that when he's with Aaron Rodgers, or if Aaron Rodgers joins the Pittsburgh Steelers, I mean, we're kidding ourselves if we think Will Howard's going to start over that. He's not. And the only way that Will Howard's going to get a starting job if Aaron Rodgers is on the team is if Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. That's the only way. And to me, that's okay. And I don't mean okay that he gets hurt. That's okay if Will Howard sits for a year. I don't think there's anything wrong with guys sitting for a year. I've never thought that. I say it all the time. If Patrick Mahomes can sit, everybody can sit. And that's pretty much with my start and finish to it. Well, Peyton Manning didn't sit. Yeah, he didn't. But Peyton Manning was also awful his first year as a rookie. He was bad. Threw the most interceptions a rookie's ever thrown. I mean, it was terrible. But he got better. I get it. But again, if Mahomes can sit, everybody can sit. That's just my personal opinion, and you're not going to get me to change that. Felicia, what's going on? So we know that Will Howard's not starting. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the scenarios. So if Rodgers is on the team, Will Howard's not going to start all year long, unless we're just completely out of the race, the last couple weeks, and they say, okay, we're going to throw him in there. If that's not the case, Will Howard isn't starting. Now, without Aaron Rodgers, if Aaron Rodgers does not come to the Pittsburgh Steelers, what does that look like? Hey, Rob, how's it going, Rob Nash? We appreciate you. So if he doesn't come to the Steelers, what does that look like? Do we then say, you know what? We're going to let him and Mason Rudolph battle it out to see who the better quarterback is week one? Or do we say, you know what? We're going to let them battle it out. We're still going to start Mason, but let's see where we are after a month. Let's put a month into the season. Do we need to go ahead and make a change? Do we let it go halfway through the season and we say we need to go ahead and make a change? Where's that cutoff? Because I don't believe if Rodgers doesn't come, I don't believe that they will let him start. I don't believe that. What's going on, Jimmy K? So if Rodgers doesn't come, I don't think they would let Will Howard start, no matter what. No matter what he looks like in preseason, no matter how bad Mason Rudolph looks in preseason, I don't think there's any possible way that Mike Tomlin would let Will Howard start week one. For the simple fact of this. Let's just say Will Howard starts week one and he plays good. And then all of a sudden, for the next 3 weeks, he plays awful. Do you go to the bench? Do you put him on the bench? I don't think you can put him on the bench at that point. I think you got to just ride it out with him. And I don't think Mike Tomlin's ready to do that. A month into the season, but he would have to, because he would owe it to the other players on the roster to say, hey, man, we're out of this thing, and we got a quarterback that can't figure this out. We got to do something different. Put somebody else in. For no other reason, Mike Tomlin, because it's easier to go to the rookie that hasn't played than it is to say, okay, we put the rookie out there. Yeah, he can't do this. Yeah, he's not ready for this. We got to go a different direction. Number one, you're crushing his confidence but maybe that's what needed to happen. But again, the Steelers, they're not just going to give up. They're not. So if for no other reason, I wouldn't do that. He's not going to do that. He's not going to start a rookie, and then a month into the season, the rookie's playing absolutely horrible, only to say, yeah, we got to go a different direction. It's easier to start Mason Rudolph, let Rudolph play horrible, and then, oh, you know what? We got to go to the rookie. Oh, if we have a bad year, it's because, hey, we did a quarterback situation, you know? So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So, and I, yeah, I don't know. That would be my thinking. So now here's another question for you, chat. Do the Pittsburgh Steelers, let's just say Will Howard does end up playing, he doesn't have to start from day one, but let's just say he plays well. Hey, what's going on, James? Jennings, appreciate you being in here. Let's just say he plays well from day one. And what I mean, or whenever he starts, let's just say he plays well. And what I mean by well, let's say he throws 22 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. Okay. 2,900 yards, plays okay. Okay. Now that's not week one starts. That's just whenever he gets in, and that's what he does. Great. Do the Steelers still draft a quarterback in the first round in 2026? Do they say, you know what? Yeah, Will Howard play okay, but we're still drafting a guy? Or, like, what's good enough for them to say, you know what? We found our quarterback for the future. What numbers would be good enough for that? Or do the Steelers say, I don't care what he does. I could care less. We're going to create competition at this position no matter what. There's nothing wrong with having two good quarterbacks on your roster. So we're going to get a quarterback in the first round next year, no matter what. I mean, that's what what do you guys think? You think the Steelers do that? So a lot of people are saying no matter what he does. I don't believe that. If he puts up good numbers, I don't think you have to draft a quarterback in the first round. I don't think you have to do that. Now, you may draft a quarterback. I'm not against drafting a quarterback, but if Will Howard puts up good numbers, and again, those numbers aren't the greatest, but 2,900 yards, 22 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, let's say he starts 13 games. I think that's enough for the Steelers to say, hey, we may have our guy. We're going to draft a quarterback, but it's not going to be in the first round, and we're damn sure not moving up to take one. I think that would be a mistake. So, Big Pun says you don't put the franchise in the hopes of a six-round quarterback. Even if he puts up good numbers, it doesn't matter. No matter what he does, you don't want him to be the quarterback. That's what my man Big Pun is saying. Hey, Aaron J., we appreciate you, man. Thanks for saying that. So I think they draft a quarterback. It just doesn't have to be in the first round. So, because if a guy plays well after the first year, does it matter where they got drafted? Hey, we drafted this guy look at Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy got drafted with the last pick in the draft, and he just got over $180 million guaranteed. That's because he played well. And so that's what I'm saying. If you play well after your first year, it doesn't matter where you get drafted. Now, if you don't play well, that's a different conversation altogether, But after your first year, nobody cares where you got drafted. Like where you got drafted literally means nothing after you've been in the league for a year. It means absolutely nothing. So if we're saying, hey, we're not going to put it in the hands of a guy who got drafted in the sixth round, even though he threw for 38 touchdowns and 2 picks and led us to the AFC Championship game, yeah, we don't want that guy to be the quarterback. What? That's what I'm saying. Now, granted, that's outlandish, but After you play your first year, it doesn't matter where you got drafted, man. It literally doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Either good or you're bad. And if you're good, great. If you're not, okay. But you also can't look at it like when Aaron Palmer said that Purdy was 9-4 at Iowa State one year. Back when Iowa State was good when Purdy was there, by the way. They had, I think, like 9 pros on their team. That's the misconception. They act like that Iowa State wasn't any good when Purdy was there. Yeah, they were. They may have underachieved, but they had 9 pros on his team when he was a senior. 9. It's a lot. It's a lot. So, but the thing about it is, it just doesn't matter where you get drafted after the 1 year. So, that's my whole thinking about it. It's like, who cares? If he plays well, maybe we got the guy for the future. But if he doesn't play well, that's a different conversation. If he doesn't, then yeah, we're going to take a quarterback. We're going to do what we need to do. So, but the thing about it is, but you also have to look at it from the standpoint of, hey, what are the chances that he's going to play well? Well, let the football decide. That's what I say. Just let the football decide. Let's not worry about, only one quarterback or 2 quarterback, that the chances of him playing well aren't very high. Okay, we understand that. We get that. And if he doesn't play well, then he just doesn't play well. So he doesn't play well. But if he does, then great. If he gets that opportunity, then great. So that's all. That's all. And so the thing about it is, I mean, we can't compare everybody to Tom Brady. We can't act like everybody's going to be a Tom Brady. We can't act like everybody is a Brock Purdy. I mean, like I said, the chances of that happening are very, very slim. But they do happen. They do happen. And again, you can't just go in saying, well, if a guy comes in and he plays good football, that we're going to say, nope, I don't care if he played good. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. At some point, like, what are we talking about here? I get on Steeler fans all the time about not wanting good talent by trying to be picky about good talent. Well, hell, we got good talent. If the guy's on our team and he played good, do we have to replace him? I don't know. To me, that would be a mistake. To me, that would be a mistake. So San Antonio says that Purdy got all-pro running back, wide receiver, tight end, left tackle, D-line. Okay. I don't know what his defense has to do with him throwing the football, but okay. And they put him in a good position. They put good players around him. That's a good organization, isn't it? And, I mean, you get a guy that can go out there that plays well when he has good players around him. That's what every good organization should do, right? That's what I thought. That's their job, is to put good players around you. Nothing wrong with that. Not saying Brock Purdy's a world beater. Didn't say that. Never going to say that. But if you put good players around him, then he's pretty good. So that's all the Steelers need. I mean, we don't have to have the second coming of Joe Montana. Just have a guy out there that can play good football if he's got good football players around him. Now, the next part of that is you got to put good players around Will Howard. That's the next part. That's the next part. So that's the whole thing about it is that we have to just get. We just have to have a better roster. We just have to have better players. So I'm confusing, Jason. I didn't know I was being confusing. I'm pretty much talking straightforward. But maybe you're talking to the chat. I think that's who you're talking to, the chat. Yeah, I don't get why it's a bad thing for people to surround your talent with good players. And then when they play well, yeah, but you've got these good players around them. Well, that's what the organization is supposed to do. So if the Steelers do that, and they put good talent around Will Howard and he plays well, what's the point? You know, I think people die on hills. Like our friend Big Pun wants to die on the hill that no matter what, Will Howard's not going to be any good. That's the hill he's going to stand on. And if Will Howard plays bad, he's going to come back and say, see, I told you he wasn't any good. That's his hill, which that's fair. That's a fair assessment because he's right. What are the chances that a 6th-round pick plays well? Or, I mean, so that hill that he wants to die on is right. But if he does play well, then what? He still wants to replace him because, well, maybe it was a fluke. Well, maybe it was all the other players. I mean, you can't do that. You can't do that, man. You just have, hey, if a guy proves himself and he plays well, then he just plays well. Just let it go. Just let it go. So Felicia says, and coaches can read the damn room and adjust on the fly. Maybe. So, but that's an interesting question. I mean, the draft class has plenty of guys next year. I mean, we know the names. I don't really need to go into them, but I think it's pretty interesting to see what the Steelers would do if Howard played well, because it's easy if he doesn't. If he even gets on the field, that's the first part. He's got to get on the field first. And if he gets on the field, does play well. And if he does, that's where it becomes tricky. And now if he doesn't play well, it's an easy answer. It's an easy answer. So and it's wild. And you're right, Jason. People in the chat not wanting him to be surrounded by good players. I'm like, that's what they're supposed to do. That's what your franchise is supposed to do. You don't say, hey, okay, we got this quarterback. We're not going to give him a good line. We're not going to give him any weapons to throw to. We're not going to get him a running game. We're not going to do any of that. We're just going to pay this quarterback, and he can do it all with mediocre to below average players. Go figure it out. That is not what the good franchises do. Perfect example of that. Look at the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert. Now, I'm not a big Justin Herbert's a top 5 guy or anything like that. But look what Justin Herbert had. No weapons, no running game. We're going to pay you. Go out there and figure it out. Jim Harbaugh comes in and says, oh, hold on a second. We got to get an offensive line for this guy. And they started doing that. We got to run the ball better for this guy. Now we got to get some weapons for this guy. He's the perfect example. Literally the perfect example. Now, again, I'm not saying he's the greatest quarterback or anything like that, but he isn't terrible. And I'm pretty sure everybody in this chat would take Justin Herbert on the Steelers right this very second. And if you don't, then you're a fool. I can just tell you that you'd be a fool. So, but that's interesting. Interesting conversation. Interesting thought on what the Steelers would do. What they would actually do. Well, I don't know, Mr. Crump, on the last 2 years. I don't know about that. And I'm not sure that that Big Ben was really that good his last 2 years, especially his last year. I don't think Ben was good at all. I think he was okay. I mean, he wasn't as good as Herbert is right now his last 2 years. That's for sure. He wasn't that. But I think he was okay. But you're right, as far as not giving anything. Yeah, no, the Steelers didn't have anything. So they literally didn't have anything. Nothing. So how did Claypool look without Ben? Claypool can't play in the league. So, I don't know. Claypool didn't look good his second year in Pittsburgh, and Ben was there. So, I don't think that had anything to do with it. But I get what you're saying. I get your point. I get your point. So, but that's an interesting question. And let me ask you all this. Do we want to find out? Like, do we want Will Howard to play? Do we want him out there? Or do we say, nope, I'd rather have Mason. Nope. I'd rather have Rodgers. Another interesting question. We're going to find out in the coming weeks. So we're going to find out in the coming weeks. Let's move on, though. Let's move on. So, what are the chances that the Steelers are going to add a wide receiver number 2? And before we get to that, again, everybody, thank you guys again for showing up like you guys always do, man. We absolutely appreciate it here. So, thank you very much. Do me a favor, man. If you haven't hit the like button, keep smashing that like button for us. We want to try to get as many people in here as possible tonight. But do we want, or what are the Steelers going to do? Are they going to add a wide receiver number 2? So I know my man Wes is saying Olave, Olave, Olave. Well, those rumors have died down. You know, those rumors have quieted down quite a bit. The thing about it is a lot of you guys in the chat didn't want him and didn't want Olave because you were afraid of the concussions. So that a lot of people are saying, nope, don't want Olave, concussion. The Saints are wanting a second-round pick. I said it the other day. If Chris Olave is on the market for a second-round pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers better give it to him. Otherwise, you ain't trying to win. You don't want good players. You better give him the second-round pick for him. So, but doesn't look like New Orleans really wants to give up Chris Olave, which I can understand because he's really good. He's really good. So that's the whole thing about it. He's really good, and he's a proven football player. Tyler brings up a great point. A great point. Says fan base has no problem drafting broken prospects, but scared of Olave having a few concussions. I mean, how many guys have the Steelers drafted lately that have injury histories? But this guy is a proven NFL guy, that a proven NFL player, not somebody that, oh, well, he's got potential. No. Chris Olave is a proven, very good receiver in this league that would upgrade our room more than it would if George Pickens was still here, because he's a better fit. He's a way better route runner. So that's a great point by Tyler. So that's the whole thing. Big Pun, I can't respond to you anymore, bro. You're getting back into the everything negative, just making ridiculous comments, bro. I can't do that, man. I can't. I try, but okay. But keep going, by all means, keep going. But that's the whole thing. Second round pick for him seems to be what the Saints would want, and that's okay. I would do it in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Alonzo Dunn with the super chat. I appreciate you. What's going on, man? He says, hey, Cal Austin, no size, but lots of speed, guts, puffiness. This guy needs the ball and a chance. We all got, yeah, you're right. He does need a chance. I'm just not sure to give him a chance for wide receiver number 2. So I'm just not sure for wide receiver number 2. He's a slot guy. And it's okay to be a slot guy. It's okay. I knew what you meant. By puffiness. I think y'all got it, brother. I was just messing with you. So, but yeah, at some point, are the Steelers going to do that? So, are the Steelers going to do that? And again, there's the other free agents that are out there: Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Gabe Davis, Nelson Aguilar, DJ Chark. Chark is one that piques my interest. He piques my interest. But if you're afraid of Chris Olave and his injury history, now granted, you don't have to trade for him, for Chark, but Chark has been hurt. I mean, he stays hurt. Lord have mercy. I mean, he stays hurt. Cannot stay healthy. So, but we'll see. We'll see. It could be that. It could be that. Could be that. My man Tyler, if we get Olave or another free agent, our future QB is honestly set up pretty well. Should have a solid run game and a young, improving O-line. Exactly. That's my whole point on getting him. That is my whole point. So, that is my whole point. You go get him. Hey, Big Pun, you're doing your homework. Thanks, brother. We appreciate you. Let's see what happens with Roman. I mean, do we just give Roman Wilson, because Roman Wilson was drafted to be wide receiver too. People don't believe that, but he really was. He was drafted to be the second wide receiver. Are we willing to give him that chance? After last year, hurt twice, 5 total snaps, got healthy, and then the Steelers just said, we don't feel comfortable enough to putting you out there. So we are not going to put you out there. Oh, that to me, that screams bad all the way around. You know what I'm saying? That just screams all the way around. So I don't know. But that's what he was drafted to be, wide receiver too. Roman Wilson. So we'll see what happens. And if we can't get Olave, there's other guys, but I don't know. I guess, but my question is, do we think the Steelers is going to go get another one? Do we believe the Steelers are going to say, okay, yeah, we're going to go get another wide receiver? That's the question. Are we going to go get another wide receiver? So that would be my question. And it's interesting. So, but I don't know. Man. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think they will? Tyler says, I think Tyreek puts us in a hole. We also end up in the same situation with 2 wide receivers that accomplish the same goal. Talking about Big Pun. What did Big Pun say? Go get Tyreek Hill? We just got rid of a guy with an attitude problem. Why would we? And he didn't make any money. Now we got to pay a guy $34 million a year that's got an attitude problem that's going to quit on us? Why would we do that? That doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. So, Alonzo says with Aaron Rodgers, maybe not. I don't know. It's like to just say to go get Tyreek Hill. Look, here's the thing. Y'all know me. I've said it before. Tyreek Hill is a top 5 wide receiver in this league. Don't care. Oh, he had a down year last year. He also had a broken damn wrist that he needed surgery on before the season started, and he was playing with Tua out there, or with Tua wasn't out there for how many weeks? Like 8 weeks Tua was gone. He's out there playing with Skylar Thompson and other guys that couldn't complete passes. It's tough. But at the end of the year, when Miami needed him, he quit on him. He said he quit. His coaches said he quit. What else? Do we want that? So, I saw somebody in the chat said we'd be crazy if we depended on Roman Wilson. I don't necessarily disagree with that, man. I just look. But the only thing that I would say about that is that the Steelers are dependent on Broderick Jones. And they're dependent on Broderick Jones to play left tackle. So if they're dependent on Broderick Jones to play left tackle, I think they're going to try to depend on Roman Wilson to play wide receiver. Number 2. I believe it. So I absolutely believe it. So I don't think anything's up with Ramsey, Tyrone. The Steelers aren't going to trade for him. They're not going to do that. So, and I firmly believe that Broderick's going to have a better. Yes, Tyler. Yes, you said it before I could say it. Feel like Broderick's going to have an insane year. I do too. Yes, self-made. Broderick has shown us something. And I guess maybe that's the difference is that Roman Wilson has literally shown nothing. I mean, nothing. So, they didn't play Roman last year. What's changed? Well, a whole nother year, man. That's what's changed. I mean, he was hurt, and he's probably not hurt anymore. If the problem was the playbook, I'm going to guess that he learned that, by now. And maybe they feel more comfortable putting him out there. That's what's changed. A whole nother year of maturity, and a lot of things change in a year, man. A lot of things change. So, a lot of things change. So, and to bring in Aaron Rodgers, yeah, it makes sense to bring in Aaron Rodgers. I mean, even if you don't have anybody else, like, what's the point? I mean, hey, let's not bring in a better quarterback because we don't have good receivers or a good number 2 receiver. How does that make sense? You know what? We have the opportunity to upgrade our quarterback room, but we're not going to upgrade the quarterback room because of what the wide receiver room looks like. If somebody can explain how that makes sense, I will be more than happy to listen to you. I will be more than happy to listen. But you can't say, hey, we're not going to upgrade the quarterback room because of what the wide receiver room looks like. Just throwing this out here, doesn't having a good, competent quarterback, doesn't that make wide receivers better? The last time I checked, that's true. Now, I'm not saying he's going to make anybody world beaters or anything like that, but you can't go into a season saying, hey, we're not going to upgrade this room because of what that room looks like. You can't do that. Thank you, Jeff, for the super chat, man. Appreciate you supporting the channel. Thank you very much. My man Alonzo Dunn says, think about it. We had 2 players playing out of position, Broderick being one. The other is Benton. Those corrections should spell success. The only thing that scares me about that, Mr. Dunn, I haven't heard. Now, granted, we haven't seen any practices, but the rumors are that Keanu Benton is going to stay at nose tackle. I'm going to flip my lid if Keanu Benton stays at nose tackle. My God. Like, how much do we have to see for them to know he is not a nose tackle? And unless in the offseason they put on 25 pounds, if he's done that, well, okay, that's a different conversation. But if he hasn't put on 25 pounds, then he's not a nose tackle. Hell, I would say even if he has put on 25 pounds, he's still not a nose tackle. But yeah, I'll be insane, just irate. So, a man says that A-Rod's not going to pull the trigger on the Pittsburgh Steelers unless they get a legitimate wide receiver number 2. That could very well be the case. That could very well be the case. But if the Steelers want him to come in, don't you have to get a receiver then now? Like, if you want your quarterback to be here during OTAs and minicamp, don't you need a wide receiver now? So is that good news that the Steelers are going to sign somebody quickly? Or like, nope, they're just not going to do that. Which to me, I'm just not sure the Steelers are going to sign somebody, man. I'm just not. I'm not convinced of that. I'm not convinced of that. So, everybody's saying that dumbass Tomlin might leave him there, and I don't disagree. I don't disagree. So, I just don't disagree. We'll see. We'll see. This version of Rodgers isn't going to make any wide receiver look better. I mean, Rodgers wasn't. I mean, we act like Rodgers was a horrible quarterback last year. That's not the case. That is not the case. He wasn't. No matter how much we hate him and we want to make the numbers that he put up look bad, he wasn't horrible. And if he does the same thing that he did with the Jets, if he was on the Pittsburgh Steelers last year doing that, the Steelers win 2 more football games. And we all know that. I mean, not saying he's a world beater. I'm not saying that. But to act like he's not any good is crazy. Crazy. Delete 26-year-old Gabe out there would be stupid. Who's Gabe? Am I missing something? Maybe I am. If Benton continues a starting note, first of all, they're not going to fire Mike Tomlin. Now, they may fire Terrell Austin, but they're not firing Mike Tomlin. We got to stop saying that stuff because that's not happening. It's just not happening. It may be what we want to have happen, but it isn't. And I only live in reality. So I'm not saying it's going to make the wide receivers look better, but if you think he doesn't have some knowledge to drop on the young, yeah, he absolutely has some knowledge. And Aaron Rodgers isn't going to want to be the quarterback and look bad. So, of course, he's going to help those guys. Come on, man. We can't be that fan base, can we? Or maybe we can. I don't know. Maybe we can. It seems that we want to be. So, should have fired Tomlin a long time ago, but they didn't. So, let's just talk about reality. I talk about reality, man. We can't live in something that is not happening. Doesn't make any sense. So, Lonzo Dunn with another super chat supporting the channel says Rodgers will still attract talent. He can still throw and he's accurate. Exactly. Can't move around like he used to. You definitely can't do that. But he's still accurate and he can still throw the football. And he's still smart. He still can read the defense. That kind of stuff hasn't left him. So, let's see here. Aaron Jaded, that doesn't matter that Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. I get what you're saying. But as much as I think the Steelers defense is going to be better this year, it's not going to be the 2000 Ravens. It's not going to be anywhere close to that. Anywhere. If the Steelers defense, never mind, y'all know me. I talk about facts. I don't talk about fantasy land. And there's no reality where the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is going to be the 2000 Ravens. So I'm not even going to bring that up into existence. I'm not even going to talk about that. So, because that is not going to happen. I think they can be better. But they're not going to be that. And that's what Trent Dilfer won with. So, didn't matter of fact, if my facts haven't left me, didn't the Ravens, they went 5 straight weeks that year without scoring an offensive touchdown. And didn't they win every one of those games? I'm pretty sure they did. It was 5 weeks in a row that Ravens defense or that Ravens offense didn't score a touchdown, and they won every one of those games. So, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. But it's just an interesting conversation on will the Steelers add a wide receiver number 2. I mean, if they don't, which they didn't last year, you remember last year, they didn't. And how often did that hurt us? Some people said, well, it wasn't that big of a deal. I'm like, did you watch the games last year? And I get we won 10 games. How many games could the Steelers have won last year if they just had another guy that was getting open that they could have thrown the ball to? Just think about that for a second. I mean, yes, it killed the Steelers. It was so bad that we went out and got Mike Williams, and Mike Williams couldn't play football anymore, or at least he couldn't when he got to the Steelers. He might be able to play now. Maybe the Steelers just refused to use him. He caught a game-winning touchdown and went the next 3 weeks without even a target. I mean, I'd like to think that was more scheme than Mike Williams. I'd like to think it was more scheme and it was more us than Mike Williams. So there it is. Steelers would have won 12, maybe 13 games if we would have had another wide receiver. Let me ask you guys this question. I know this one's going to hurt. This one's going to hurt, chat. What if the Steelers never traded Deontay Johnson and kept him on the team? Ugh. What would the Steelers look like last year if he was on the team? Now, you can remember, terrible locker room guy, despicable locker room guy, horrible effort guy. But you know what Deontay Johnson did do? He ran his routes and he got open. And I know he had the dropsies early in his career, but it seems like he fixed that problem. What do they look like? I'm just saying. Like I said, now here's the thing. Maybe they don't win as many games because he crushes the locker room because there's two plays he's trying to give effort or should have given effort on, and he doesn't, and it costs the Steelers. Or he causes so much problems in the locker room. I mean, because y'all remember, Minka basically whooped his ass in the locker room. Y'all know that. But what does it look like? I mean, you have to keep that in mind. It can't just be everything that he would have done on the field. You got to understand what he did to the locker room, too. That counts, but Lord have mercy. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Now, granted, he quit on 3 football teams after he left the Steelers. Literally quit on them. Who's to say he wouldn't have quit on the Steelers too? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's to say, dude, that he wouldn't have quit on us too? Because we saw the effort. We saw him in the locker room. The team couldn't stand him anymore. I think that's the only reason that they traded him is because they're like, hey, man, no, we can't have this guy in here. No more. Lennox Smith said, would not have made a difference. Pat, the tight end, was wide open most games, and neither QB would throw the ball. That's because Pat ran a lot of stuff over the middle, and for some reason, Justin Fields, Arthur Smith, well, we know why. Mike Tomlin doesn't like throwing the ball over the middle of the field. He literally came out and said so. But Deontay Johnson's running things on the numbers and outside the numbers. He would have been open. But he may have killed the locker room too. So he may have killed the locker room too. Mika hadn't done shit on the field. Yeah, they're not asking him to do anything, unfortunately. I can't. Look, I want Mika to be good. People said, oh, he's washed. We don't even know if he is. We don't know. And I know, oh, well, they don't ask him to do anything because he's white. That's not true. Because when they did ask him to do some stuff last year, he actually did it. But they didn't ask him. They didn't ask him. You just can't pay a safety $18 million to play center field. You just can't do that. You just can't do that. You can't do that. You cannot ask your safety to do that. So, not paying him $18 million. Now, you can pay him 3 or 4, and you can have that guy do that, but not 18. So everyone wanted Sutton back. Not everybody, Emory. Everybody didn't want Sutton back. You know, everybody didn't want Sutton back. And I can speak for the chat in here. Everybody wasn't a fan of Cam Sutton coming back. Not in here, they weren't. Not in here, they weren't. I can speak to that. My man, Big Pun, that me and him argue every day. He didn't want Cam Sutton back. I remember specifically him not wanting Cam Sutton back. Yeah, everybody didn't want him back. 85% of the fan. Now, I don't even know if it was that much, man. Here's the thing. It's like nobody complained when Cam Sutton left. Like, everybody was like, oh, Detroit's going to pay him that kind of money? Okay, bye. Like, nobody said anything. Now, they thought, hey, we can get him back for the cheap, but what do you want him to play? Like, he can't play corner like that. So, oh, well. Jimmy K said, thank you for the super chat. Jimmy K said, DJ will be perfect in the Browns uniform this year. He's going to quit on them too, if he even makes the team. I'm not sure he's even going to make the team. So there's that. Mr. Lee Sharp, thank you for the super chat. He says Arthur Smith has got to be more creative and have a counterpunch to defensive schemes. The predictability was driving me crazy last year. Run, pass, annoying as hell. I mean, not just the run, pass, it's how we ran the ball. Like, no creativity with personnel groups, none of that. No creativity with motion, pre-snap motions. It was always shifting. And it's just like, come on, man. You're a professional offensive coordinator. You got to have more creativity than this. You got to have more than that. So, got to have more. So, it is what it is. Got to have more. Mike says, I like DJ, thought he was a great receiver. Yeah, he had the drops early on. He had some lack of giving 100%. I don't know if he was a locker room problem. No, he was definitely a locker room problem. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. He was that. I mean, he got into a fight in the locker room. So, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So, yeah, Sutton was terrible in Detroit. Terrible in Detroit. So the reason the Steelers got him back is because they didn't trust Beanie Bishop, and they could get Cam Sutton for cheap because he had just come off, what did he run from the cops? Like, he beat up his girlfriend and then he ran from the cops, or allegedly beat her up and then ran. Then he got arrested. So the Steelers brought him back for cheap. He got suspended, 8 games or something like that, 8, 9 games. He comes back and was awful with the Steelers, and now he's out of football. So you're right about that. You are right about that. Good evening, Mark. How you doing, man? My man Tyler says Arthur Smith can't even properly run his scheme with Mike Tomlin brainwashing the entire organization, keeping the ball out of the middle. Yeah, at some point, that's got to change. You can't excuse it. At some point, it's got to change. DJ didn't punch Mika. Mika punched him. So there was that. The Browns have no receivers. They had a Pro Bowler last year. So, we may not think very highly of Jerry Jeudy, but he was there. He was there. Moving on, people. Moving on. What kind of year do you guys think that Nick Herbig needs to have this year? Like, what do you all think about Nick Herbig? Like, I like Nick Herbig. I want Nick Herbig to have a good year. 2 years. He had 27 tackles and 3 sacks his rookie year. Then he had 22 tackles and 5.5 sacks last year. And what did he miss? 4 or 5 games? So started a few games when Highsmith got hurt. Then he got hurt. I think Herbig's got to have a good season this year. So, Jason, you say 8.5 sacks. That's weird that you said that because that's kind of what I said. I kind of said the same thing about Nick Herbig. Is that, we need some more tackles. But 8.5 sacks, that's a perfect number. No, Mike, you're crazy. Putting Nick ahead of Highsmith for what? He's not the player that Highsmith is. Come on, man. Come on, man. Look, we can like Nick Herbig, but he is not good against the run. Highsmith is. Highsmith is. Nick Herbig, and we could say this, Nick Herbig is bad against the run. We can say that. Highsmith is not. So you're not putting him ahead of Highsmith. You're just not doing that. Unless he proves himself to be a hell of a lot better. So, but I want him to be good. And we need him to be good. Jeff with the super chat, what about Patrick Queen? Do you think he'd be better this year than last? I would hope so. I would hope so. So, yeah, Herbig's not very good, Mike, against the run. He's not very good against the run. But what do I think? I mean, as far as the number of starts, y'all see the chart up there. It's tricky as far as starts because he's a backup. I mean, that's what he is. So I don't know about how many starts, but as far as tackles, I would say we need to get up into the 35 to the 38 range as far as tackles. That's what I think we need to be in 2025. And we need 8 sacks from him. I know that's asking a lot from a backup, but it's just what it is. It's just what it is. So, and the thing about it is, I think he needs to get in the game more. Big Pun, you're right. He's got to get in the game more on passing situations. They did it early in the season. Like when it's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, it's an obvious passing situation. Why isn't Highsmith? I mean, if we're going to the nickel, the 4 down linemen need to be TJ Watt, Highsmith, Herbig, and Cam Hayward. And figure it out. Run a bunch of games, run a bunch of twists. Figure it out. But Herbig needs to be on the field. It can't just be to give TJ Watt or Alex Highsmith a break. He's got to be out there more. He's got to be out there more. So, because he can make play. Now, he's got to play the run better. He's got to play the run better. But there's no reason that when, hey, it's 3rd and long, put those guys out there and let's see what happens. Bring a slot corner blitz. Bring Peyton Wilson on a blitz. Let's just see. My man Capricorn Steel always supporting the channel with the big super chat. He said Herbig will have 7 to 8 sack season. Hopefully, he continues to improve against the run. We also need both off-ball linebackers to play better. Our interior D-line should help that. Absolutely. Absolutely. The interior D-line should be better. It's bigger. It's more athletic. So they should be better. And that will help the linebackers. That will help Wilson. That will help Queen. That will help Holcomb. It will help all those guys. But yeah, there's no reason that we shouldn't be able to put those for. Now, here's the thing, guys. Again, when you're a member, you get the full all 22s. And I'm going back and looking. The first 2 games of the year, in obvious passing situations, the Steelers did that. They did that. They put those guys out there. It was actually the first 2 games of the year. They did it. I think there's 8 snaps where there's Watt, Highsmith, Herbig, and Hayward on the field together rushing the passer. 2 of those plays, TJ Watt got a sack. So I'm like, hey guys, it works. Why aren't we doing this more? It works. No, there's nothing wrong with it. But here's the one thing about it. We talk about Alex Highsmith, and there was talk about, well, the Steelers might trade Alex Highsmith. They may do this. They may do that. Well, I knew they weren't going to trade him this year because the Steelers weren't going to eat. It was like $16 million in dead cap space. They weren't going to eat that. Next year, though, if you want to trade Alex Highsmith, there's $11 million dead cap hit. But the Steelers would save $8.8 million on the cap. So you're basically looking at $2.2 million in a difference. They would do that. You could trade Alex Highsmith because, I mean, depending on the kind of year, you could trade Alex Highsmith, but only if Herbig can play. And he's got to be better against the run. He's got to be better against the run. Herbig can't do that. You can't trade Alex Highsmith. You just can't. Because as of now, Highsmith has 3 years left. So you can't trade him. So you can't trade him. But it would make sense. It would absolutely make sense if they did that. It would 100% make sense. So, absolutely. I don't know if losing a Landon could be painful. Look, Landon Roberts was bad in coverage. And so he wasn't out there that often. Now you could say, well, the Steelers got to be able to stop the run. They do. They just need their linebackers to be better. That's all. They need the front 4/front 5 to be better. And the linebackers just need to be better. That's all. Because as much as we loved E-Rob, Peyton Wilson has more potential. He's faster. He's damn near as big. I mean, people don't understand. Peyton Wilson's a big guy. He's just tall, but he's 240 pounds. We just need him to be better. That's all. We need him and Patrick Queen to be better. If they are, then we're okay. So, see you, M. Sparks. So, no, E-Rob was definitely the best interior linebacker. So, definitely would be. Definitely, he was the best interior as far as run defense. But again, that's the thing. We just weren't in the 3-4 enough. And we're not going to be. Teams don't line up in pro sets like that much anymore. If they bring out 3 wide receivers, you got to match that. And the matching it can't be, well, we're going to fold an outside linebacker out to cover the slot. Remember, we used to do that all the time. Remember what Julian Edelman said about the Patriots? Is that when the Steelers played the Patriots, they just lined up in the 3-4. Oh, the slot guy, yeah, we're just going to have a linebacker cover that guy, and they would kill us. Well, you can't do that. You just can't. You can't. Got to match up. I think it's a huge year for Nick Herbig. I think it's a huge year. Yep, Emory, I've been saying it all along. I said it from the very first game about Peyton Wilson, trying to run around blocks because he was more athletic than everybody. And in college, you can do that. In the pros, you can't do that. You're not quicker than the guards that are coming out there to block you. You're not quicker than, not in short space, you're not quicker than them. So you can't. And he did that a lot. But he got better as the season went on. But the same thing happened to Peyton Wilson. It happened to Zach Frazier. It really happened to our man Mason McCormick. They just hit that rookie wall. They ran smack dab into that rookie wall, because the rookie wall is a real thing. When they do all their off-season conditioning in college, then they go through the summertime, then they go through and they play a full season of football, then they're trying to get ready for the draft, then they go from that to getting ready to play in a college or a pro season. They don't have any break. They literally had no off-season, no break. That's a lot. And you run into that wall. That rookie wall is a real thing. So, and real thing. But yeah, for Herbig to get and do his thing, I'm a firm believer that you got to get more pass rushers out there. I mean, we've seen other teams do that plenty of times. I mean, we've seen other teams that just throw the pass rushers out there. Hey, we got 4 guys that can rush the passer. We're just going to put them out there, block them. Go block them. Alonzo Dunn says brought that thump. Say what you want. That matters. Yeah, it does. It does matter. It absolutely matters. The problem is when he was out there, teams would say, oh, he's going to cover a running back or a tight end. Okay, let's just throw it to that guy. And he's just not good enough in space. But bringing the thump matters. I remember that Dallas game. I know y'all remember that Dallas game right at the end on the damn goal line. Caused a fumble. We should have been able to get that fumble and win the game. That was all E-Rob. All E-Rob. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. So, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. I'm real interested in Herbig this year, though, people. I am because that's a real thing. If he can replace Alex Highsmith, then that matters for the Steelers. That matters. Now, I know we need depth I get all of that, but you can't pay everybody. We're paying Alex Highsmith. If we could erase him and put somebody in that's just as good as him, that helps the Steelers. It helps the Steelers. And yeah, you're going to have to pay Herbig too. I get that. But you don't have to pay them both. So there's the difference. There is the difference. And like I said, I want it to happen. Jeff, when is the next Big B and Big G show? Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. The big show will be here, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Make sure you guys show up early and often. Early and often. We will be there live and ready to roll. That's it, Arch Baby Doll. Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Me and Big G for the big show every Tuesday, people. The only Tuesday that we will not be on, and I can't remember the date, but it's not until July. It's not until July. My wife is making me go on a vacation. I don't want to go. I don't want to go on vacation. I don't want to go. But she's making me go. Ain't that something? She's making me go to the beach. She's making. Now, here's the thing about me going to the beach. I'm a big dude. I'm 345 pounds. Okay. I'm trying to lose weight. Y'all know, if y'all are a member, 3rd tier or higher, I do my walks every day. I do my walks. I talk to you guys. So 3 times a week. So I'm 345. I'm a big dude. I'm a big dude. We're going to the beach. There's some people that are afraid. There's some people that are nervous. Some people that are embarrassed by not wearing a shirt. I used to be that guy. I used to be a guy that, hey, man, I'm not going to do this. People are going to look at me and laugh. They're going to be whispering. I'm almost 50 years old, man. I don't give a damn anymore. Maybe it's because I got older. I don't give a damn. So I don't get Arch Baby Doll's going to go with my wife to the beach instead of me. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Believable. But, man, I don't care about that no more. People say and do whatever they want. My belly is going to be out. It's going to be out for everybody to see. And what are you going to do? What are you going to say? Hey, you're fat. You're right. Okay. You want to rub my belly? I bet you won't let your wife rub my belly. Oh, my bad. I shouldn't have said that. I apologize. So, yeah, man, I used to be nervous about that. And I think, to be honest with you, the more that I did this talking to you guys, people that I don't know, that I've never met, I shouldn't say I don't know y'all, but I haven't met. I'm like, the more that I do this, I'm like, I could care less. Y'all can say whatever you want, but I'm going. I wear the crazy shirts. I don't button it up. The belly's coming out when I'm on the beach, and we're going to have fun. One of these days, I'm going to do that in here. These days. So, one of these days, it is what it is. So, one of these days, it isn't frowned upon like it used to be, is it, self-made? It used to be people would say stuff about you, make fun of you, and now I'm like, hey, man, it is what it is. It is what it is. I see, look, Alonzo, don't be suckered in with the Thunderbird talk. Don't get sucked in with the Thunderbird talk. Cannonball in the ocean. I'm doing cannonball everywhere. I drink as many pina coladas as I possibly can. I tell them, I said, I need a pina colada. Throw in 2 extra shots because we go to the all-inclusive. So, the drinks, they already paid for them. So throw 2 extra shots in my pina colada, and I want to see as many as I can drink. As many as I can drink. That's the kind of fun I like to have. I can't be on the beach with a jug of Thunderbird, Big Pun. I can't do that. My wife's going to divorce me. Okay? It ain't because I wouldn't want to do it. She's going to divorce me. Because halfway through that jug, because first of all, I'll finish the jug, in a day sitting on the beach. Now, imagine me with Thunderbird on the beach in that hot sun all day long. That's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. But I'll finish the jug, You know? No, I'm not wearing no Speedo, Brenda. I'm not wearing. Although, Brenda, stop lying to yourself. You know you want to see Big B in a thong. You know it. You want to see me in a Speedo. Stop lying. Stop lying to these people out here, Brenda. You've been texting me on the side. You've been sending me in DM saying, "Hey, Big B, you gonna wear a Speedo to the beach?" I heard. Stop doing that, Brenda. Stop lying to these good people out here. Don't do that. Don't you do that. Don't you do that. The terrible towel Speedo. Now we're going too far, people. Now we're going too far. We're going too far. But yeah, man. So that's the only week that I'm not going to be able to do the show. That's the only week I'm not going to be able to show. So is in July. I think it's like the 15th or 16th, one of those days, I will not be available for the big show. Alonzo said, BB, he's 6'4", 290. Yeah, buddy. Ain't laughing at you at 340 with the judge. Hey, is what it is, man. Is what it is. I got about 75 more pounds to go. I've lost 100 already. I've lost 100 pounds, and I need to lose 75 more. If I can do that, I'll be all right. So, Big Pun, yes. On the beach, yeah, I'll be sweating just like Mike Tomlin was. Y'all remember how Big Pun got Mike Tomlin drunk a couple weeks back at the bowl game, or not the bowl game, at the owners meeting. Excuse me, at the owners meeting. So appreciate that, Arch Baby Doll. Thank you. So, well, all right, people. That's all I got for you today. I appreciate everybody showing up and showing out like you guys always do, man. Thank you guys very, very much. So I will chit chat with you guys later. Again, show up tomorrow. Tomorrow, 8 Eastern, 7 Central for the big show. Me and Big G, we will be there. We will be just ready to roll and have a ton of fun. So make sure you guys show up like you guys always do. Think about becoming a member if you haven't become a member already, man. You get a lot of perks with the membership. One of those you can always see is that I always bring up the members chats in the chat, man. I always do it because they're family. They are family. So we will talk to you guys tomorrow. I love you guys, and aloha.